Welcome back to the Lounge with Larz podcast. Today, we're sitting down with a serial entrepreneur who built more than just businesses. He built communities. Justin Lawrence is the owner of Unlimited Ammo, a bold and fast-growing store that's redefining what it means to be customer-focused in the ammo industry. Today, we'll unpack what drives him, how he juggles multiple ventures, and what it takes to keep pushing forward when the path isn't always clear. Justin, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm pumped to talk and sit down and chop it up.
Yeah, man. I'm super excited. You've done a few of these. I'm a little bit of the newbie to podcast, and especially on this side. I've been on your side, but being a host now, I only have a handful of episodes, and it's like, all right, you got to feel very comfortable in this space and then make the conversations flow. And so hopefully we'll have a good wrap session.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Cool, man. All right, Justin, you built something really unique with Unlimited Ammo. It's not just a store, it's like an experience, a brand with personality and a place where your customers feel like they're part of a bigger story. Before we dive into all the cool things that you're doing and you've created, I want to rewind everything and get to know, where did this entrepreneur spirit come from? What was that first spark? Did you know it early? Yeah, just share with the listeners where you got it from.
For sure. I was pretty motivated as a 15, 16-year-old getting my first job. I worked at a pool supply company when I was 16 to pay for my first truck. And that was like what motivated me to get a job and go out there and do stuff. And I started working for this company. I worked there for just under 6 years, and I was promoted through this company many times. And I left working out of the corporate office, and I had a lot of different exposure. And I worked at a bunch of different industry sides of this business. Gave me commercial experience, gave me all sorts of stuff that I take with me and use today in terms of customer service, sales leadership, and some of that other stuff that not too many people in their late teens get to experience. And I brought that to me through college. So I ended up going to a community college.
Okay.
Because I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I wasn't quite ready to move out of the house. And I feel like a lot of young people and entrepreneurs are like, oh, frick, 18 years old. I don't know if I'm ready to take on the world. And so I did 2 years of community college, and then I transferred to ASU, lived on campus for a year. Then after that year, I met one of my closest friends. We started a business. We did our stuff. We lived together. I ended up dropping out of college. I was starting to do really well for myself. And then that's where the true full-time entrepreneurship kicked in. And over the years, I've owned a series of different businesses across a bunch of different industries and stuff like that. Some have been good, some have been bad, some I've left in the dust.
Yeah.
And now I'm on the path here doing a bunch of stuff in the 2A business. And it's a really sweet niche because it's an untapped market. It's very archaic. And that's what really honed me into it. I was always into the 2A space, but what really sucked me in is how archaic it is. And I can bring new school technology and modern customer service to an industry that is so dry and needs it so desperately. So that's where we're at now.
What is 2A?
The 2A business is like anything Second Amendment, guns, ammo, any of that different stuff. So that's
Right
like the
on.
nickname for it.
Very cool, because I didn't even know that. I'm intrigued. We've been in the same office for about a year, and I saw your big truck, and you guys had some fire branding, and I was like, who is this guy? And Unlimited Ammo, I'm a big outdoors guy, hunting, obviously.
Sure.
You kind of look on the walls, like got a lot of animals here. But yeah, I think it was just a very intriguing story that I wanted to connect with you and get into. So did you go to MCC?
Yeah.
I went to MCC back in the day too, and that wasn't my calling. So school wasn't your calling either?
Yeah, I've always been a nerd like my whole life. I took all honors, all AP classes, and did all that
you're
stuff.
smart.
But I was smart enough to get in there and smart enough to get C's and get out of there. That was like my forte. I'm not a huge school person. It really hit me hard when I was doing classes and getting a degree in something, holding a job where I was in charge of marketing for multiple 8-figure side of a business at 21 years old. I was coming up with intuitive marketing tactics, and then I go to school. I hear some 56-year-old guy who's a professor that obviously had a professional life before, but times have changed so much. There was such a broad gap, especially with different social media marketing, all this other stuff that was undervalued and untapped when I was going to school. I know that's changed now in the most recent years with business education college and further education understands how important social media marketing is. And when I was going to school, it was just on the cusp of transforming. So I just missed it, which is unique. So I had a hard time mentally being like, dude, I'm doing this stuff every day. I'm getting experience with it real world. And it's teaching me more than what I was learning in the classroom.
Yeah.
And that kind of pushed me off. But I went to school under the impression of I need to go to school so I can get a degree, so I can get a better paying job. I know I can get a job paying a certain amount of money, but if I wanted a job where I made six figures, multiple six figures in a corporation, because that's what I wanted to do, be an executive in a corporation of some type, I have to have a college degree. And then the next step is actually getting a master's degree to where I really wanted to go in the company I was at.
Yeah, so add on a couple more years on.
Yeah, it's a couple more years on and stuff like that. And then I got in it and I realized, man, the corporate, it's a complete grind. And it's so dependent on the overall company's success. It has nothing to do with your individual performance. I could be a rock star in my field and my whole area could still suck because I have team members that aren't doing their thing and whatnot. And there was a lot of factors in that. And I got a kind of taste of it. And then I realized, oh man, like I have really big goals and ambitions. And I'm like, one day I can't buy a Ferrari just doing the same thing over and over again. So it was a grind, and I had really great mentors in that company I worked for and outside that company that kind of exposed me to, hey, if you really want to get to the crazy next level, you got to be willing to take the risk. And that's like where I stood. And the second I started doing well for myself and I was making more money than I was, like what my boss was making at the time, I was like, okay,
this is it.
I got a taste and I got hooked like a largemouth bass. Like I was just obsessed with it. So it's really cool. And then as time goes on, like I realized that you can shape and shift and do whatever you want. You don't have to stay in one spot and just do it forever. That's how I've gotten into a bunch of different businesses over the years and it's transformed. But yeah, it's unique.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Yeah, I started going to school too, and it just wasn't my calling. I wasn't the smartest kid. I was like in resource when I was in elementary, and people used to make fun of me. And I'm like, man, am I dumb? And what I realized, like moving through my life, Justin, is it's not that I'm dumb. It's just like I was not interested in anything.
Sure.
And so I think with everyone out there, if they're like, just life's not going the way that I want, it's you haven't found your calling. And so I found my calling. Literally, I was going to MCC and I'm like, this isn't for me. I wanted a big wrestling scholarship, wanted to go to ASU, and it didn't pan out. And it's what you do after when things don't go your way. Are you just going to be complacent and be like, oh man, this sucks, my life sucks? Or are you going to have this mindset, you're going to change the trajectory for yourself? And that's what I did. I literally just started getting into something that I was passionate about, which was the fire department. And it's a very competitive space, Justin. And it's like 7,000 people were testing. And after I really focused, put my head in the books, learned all about reading comprehension and applied my math skills. And I had 2 offers for 2 different cities, like back to back really fast. Then I ultimately came out like number 1 on both lists. And why I'm sharing that is because when you see things that aren't working for you, you have to change them. Or if you're wanting something else like that Ferrari, you need to like burn the boats, man. You got to go for it. And that's exactly what you did, which is freaking awesome.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of different entrepreneurs that have incredible backgrounds and stories. And like the biggest thing that you see between the guys that are worth a few million and the guys that are worth a few $100 million is the amount of risk they're willing to bear. How much risk are you willing to bear? What that means is not just financial risk, risking working 140 hours a week, risking that free time, throwing away your video games or some of your hobbies that you have to essentially give up. Like you're risking and giving up a certain lifestyle to be forward. You're sacrificing all this stuff for a long-term or growth trajectory, and then that changes. And I think in the last 2 years, I've made less money than I've made when I was 18 years old. Absolutely. When you're building and investing and growing a business, the owners get paid less. When you have employees and people that you're investing in and training and growing something with my partners and stuff, we're investing in each other. And I think that is where a massive gap is between the people who are mildly successful and the people who are uberly successful. Being able to not just take the risk, but do whatever it takes and sacrifice whatever you're willing to do for the end goal.
100%. Man, you're speaking my language right now
Yeah.
because honestly, over the last couple years, Justin, I've found this new mindset and this way of thinking that it's ultimately what I want to do is I want to get to a level where I never thought was possible. And coming out of high school, like I said, I didn't have any jobs lined up. I didn't know what I was going to do. And now fast forward, I'm 47. I had a really successful career as a firefighter. I transitioned into the financial firm actually during the fire service and have a strong financial firm operating. But now I'm like going off onto a new venture.
Right.
And exactly what you just said, I'm not making as much money as I used to because I'm literally just putting it into the business. I'm putting it into the employees. I'm like putting in systems. And it's just, yeah, man, I'm totally connected with you on this.
You have to be willing to sacrifice a lot of lifestyle. You have to sacrifice a lot of freedoms, vacations, and stuff like that people seem to do no matter what level they are in their financial journey. I have friends that do super well, and I have friends that don't do very well at all. And it seems everyone's taking vacations and everyone's doing this stuff and everyone's prioritizing all the things that seem like a priority, but such a small priority, like buying a new car, buying that new iPhone the second it comes out, like all these things. Like I look at it on a big macro level, and it actually holds you back big time in terms of scaling your personal finances and like how you personally invest your money and what you're putting it in. And I do it all the time. I say to myself like, oh man, back in 2021, whatever the date you could possibly imagine, before yesterday, obviously.
Yeah.
I look at all this stuff. I'm like, I spent money on this. I went on this vacation, like that $4,000 vacation. If I'd have put that $4,000 in crypto, it would have been 25 G's right now. And I'd be thanking myself for it. Lessons learned, obviously.
Totally.
Hindsight 2020. But I think it's truly, the gap is the mindset of being willing to sacrifice and do those things. And then understanding the pivot. Because what we go through right now is I own a series of different businesses right now. And I get new opportunities thrown at my feet every single day.
I bet.
There's guys that want to do this stuff. 3 days ago, we got approached by this thing. And I've been on a job site for 6 hours this morning, walking this incredible job and opportunity because it just fell in my lap. And we're doing this stuff. And you just got to know, like, all right, what lemon is worth the squeeze?
Love it.
Because you can't go and do every opportunity. Can't happen. You can't go and do it.
Your time's
too valuable. You have to pick the stuff you want to do, and instead of being a jack of a million trades, be a pro at one or two, get them dialed in, get them automated, then you can move to the next trade or system or business or opportunity. I see that a lot with different investors and stuff that I've known over the years and done. I see like you diversify over time. You don't just start diversifying. You can't just be like, all right, I diversify.
I'm going to do this and this.
Yeah, you go out and you want to do residential real estate, commercial real estate, whatever you want to invest into. You can't just go out and be like, okay, now I own this building, I Airbnb this, I have a rental for this, I have short-term here, long-term here, blah, blah, blah. You just can't do that. Yeah. It takes time. It takes time and it takes strategy. You can't just walk in and just start doing this stuff. It takes years of building. And that's the vision we have for our current business now. We've built these entities over 5 years of the business in life. And for me being in there for about 3.5 of them, it's very calculated. And the key is the vision. So how it works now with my current business partners and how we have stuff and our structures, like we have a massive vision. And this vision includes all this different stuff. And each thing is like phased out, like the retail stores, like the shooting range, like the restaurants, like all this stuff that we own and have now, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. You look at it like, wow, this is a big entity. But at the same time, it's like every little phase was thoughtfully planned out. It's a lot of time to build. It took so much effort. And a lot of those aren't profitable or not as profitable as one would think at the moment, because we've now taken that and gone on to the next thing. And I think that's a huge thing. A lot of people, they get like shiny object syndrome.
Oh yeah.
Where they're like, oh, this opportunity is right here is really good. I know this guy over here making $25,000 a month doing this, blah, 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 blah. And they want to jump and do it. Yeah. But you just left not only the opportunity behind, you just left the time it took for you to do that. And I see that all the time with a lot of younger folks that I talk to that are like getting into the investing space, getting into the business growth space. I'm like, okay, I'm quitting that. I'm not doing that anymore. Okay, how long you do that for? Oh, I did it for 3 or 4 months. It was 3 or 4 months is nothing.
Come on.
We got to put some more work in it. It's something you truly are passionate about. And if it's not something you're passionate about, don't start it in the first place.
Totally.
If it's a business or it's a venture that you're not passionate about, if you're not passionate about sitting on the corner and selling lemonade, you're not going to be a good lemonade sales 6 months down the road. Like, it's just not going to happen. It's a simple thing, but it's a massive knowledge gap between those who are becoming successful and growing fast, and then those people who are entrepreneurs that are trying their hardest, but quite frankly, like stumbling around a bit, hoping for one of those doors to open to financial success. And financial success is not a lottery ticket by any means. It is a slow roll growth. Like, you have to have the long-term vision in mind, or you just will not be successful as an entrepreneur.
That's amazing. And how old are you, Justin?
I just turned 29.
29. So I'm 47, and you just laid out like a gold nugget to all the listeners. What you just said has taken me a lot longer to understand. If I had your mindset at your age, wow, the places that I can be.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to hear just your mindset and how you think, because that is the correct mindset. That's the mindset to success. It's like a dog with a bone, right? If you're just totally frantic, you're not going to get any. So you got to be laser focused, like you said. And I know, since we've talked a little bit, I know you have multiple businesses, and it's such a cool sight to see such a young man scaling so many different businesses and opportunities. With unlimited ammo, how did that come to fruition?
Yeah, it's a phenomenal story. So my two best friends, Connor and Calvin, they started Unlimited Ammo. They've been best friends since like third grade. And they always wanted to have a business together, and it's super funny. And one night they were playing Xbox together, and Connor sent Calvin a video of this guy online making ammo on Instagram. And he's like, dude, let's do it. And they're like, okay, this is our first business we can do together. So Connor and Calvin started Unlimited Ammo in a shed. They wrangled up all their savings. They wrangled up funds from both their parents, the outside, like, family money they put together to do this. And oh my gosh, they stumbled over their feet for a really long time, and had some very harsh financial lessons. In making ammo is very hard. It's one of the hardest things to do. It's not an easy thing to scale. It's not War Dogs. It's not any of that stuff. It's very challenging.
Great movie, by the way. War Dogs.
Yeah, they had a lot of hard financial lessons, and they were growing it, and they were doing it. They had, Calvin both had full-time jobs. This is a complete side hustle. They were getting it going and doing all this different stuff. And then I've owned several subscription businesses before. And then it was just a random idea. I came across with a friend, and we were just like, hey, let's do subscription ammo. And I was like, okay, this is perfect. I really want to do subscription ammo. I built out the whole model, and I was like, okay, I want to have in-house ammo to supply these subscription boxes. And this is how it started. And we met, and we became friends, and it was great. We had a couple other partners that were trying to get on board and stuff like that. And essentially, we built it out for 6 months, ran it for 6 months. It did not work. The brink of financial failure. I put a bunch of money into it. My partners put additional money into it. To grow this thing to where it is, and machines are expensive, loan on a machine, and a bunch of different stuff, and component costs, and it's expensive business to operate, I'll tell you that. So we're a little bit over a year into it, and we're like, man, this is not working out. So anyway, we had to cut ties with everyone we were working with, and it was just me, Connor, and Calvin. And because we had the biggest financial risk in the business, and what we did was we got back to the basics, and we started manufacturing, selling ammo, and I put my marketing twist on it. We started selling stuff and scaled our e-commerce business, and scaled the subscription, and started doing that stuff, and came up with new products, new loads, stuff like that. It was really great. And we started building it and growing, and then we kind of fell into this like opportunity to get into a retail space. And we're like, oh, this is a huge financial commitment. We don't want to do it. And we saw this site out, and it didn't work out. It fell through. And then 3 months later, we had a new site that came up, and we're like, okay, do we do this? And we're like, okay, let's do it. But if we're going to do it, we're going to do it differently. Connor, Calvin, and I, we hate gun stores. Like, with a passion. Really? I hate gun store employees. I hate gun stores. Everything about a traditional gun shop.
What is it about that traditional gun shop that you don't like? What's the vibe that you're like, this is just not for me?
Yeah, most gun shops are super grungy, and it truly is the customer service and employees, because the way it is in the Second Amendment space with firearms and guns, suppressors, everything you could possibly imagine, the barrier of entry is hard to fresh customers, and it's not a very welcoming industry. So the problem is, like, obviously I own an ammo manufacturing company. We know tons about ammunition.
Right.
guys at gun stores do not truly. They know no knowledge or experience because they don't have experience with ammunition. They have experience selling guns and running the store.
Makes sense.
So when I walk into a gun store and I'm treated like I don't know what the heck I'm talking about, like they don't even know who I am, and they're treating me like this. Imagine a random customer coming in. Of course, they're pushing away that business. And so what we did was, when we had an opportunity to do a retail store, we wanted to make it completely modern. We wanted to make it customer service driven. We wanted to do all this stuff. And we wrote a list on a whiteboard of all the things we hated about gun stores. And I just did the opposite of every single one. So that's what we did. And I hate the feeling of a gun shop employee behind a counter trying to sell or talk down to a customer. If you come to any of my retail locations, both retail locations have pistols that are tethered on racks, so you can come up, pick up, grab a rack, feel it. How do I expect you to make $1,000 investment in a pistol or rifle, or even more, obviously, without touching it? And it breaks down that wall and breaks down that barrier, especially for the newbies. So a big customer focus of ours is beginner shooters, women, people who are timid and scared. That's like my prime new customer. And then the people in the industry that already are into guns and ammo, they love it even more because it's even cooler for them.
It's like a new experience.
So we built this little retail shop in Queen Creek. It's in a rundown building. The building owner is one of our friends. He's a great guy, character. And we dumped a bunch of money in renovations into the building. We put a bunch of inventory in there. We built it properly, and it's a really cool opportunity. That's our Queen Creek unlimited ammo location. And we have half of it is like warehouse style, where we do actually some loading there on site. So we have some of our production equipment assembly line over there. I do all my e-commerce fulfillment out of the Queen Creek location. It's 2,500 square foot, 1,250 of its retail. And of the retail, I have a lounge in there, like literally couches and desks and TV and stuff like that. Complimentary snacks and drinks. Every customer gets snacks and drinks. Amazing. It's just like a cool place to be. So when you do a background check and you sit on the couch and you chill out, it's a cool environment to come and shop and hang out, because it's all about the culture and the community. And that's where a lot of people, I feel like, miss the mark in any business. You want to feel taken care of. If you ever have a Cadillac or Mercedes or any luxury automobile, when you go for an oil change, you're getting coffee, you're getting snacks, you're getting a sandwich, 100%. You're getting all this stuff. It's part of the experience, and whether it makes its cohesion with the brand. And Unlimited Ammo, as an ammo manufacturer and selling products in our own store, in addition to all the other gun shops and other pop-up stores, they can't do that because they don't have a brand. They don't have their own line of stuff. So when you combine the both, it's like a one-stop shop. So they're there for our product, and even if they're not there, they get exposed to my product, and that's the vision with that. So the Queen Creek store has done really well. We're really proud of it. It's our first and flagship little store. And then the biggest acquisition we just took on is the shooting range, restaurant, bar, grill, the whole area. It's crazy. It's 27,000 square foot.
That's a big
here
building.
In Gilbert. It's disgustingly huge.
Where's that at?
It's 3 stories, right next to Topgolf.
Oh, okay.
Yep, right next to Topgolf there. And it's gone through a series of different owners over the years, and no one's had the formula to turn it into what it truly deserves to be turned into. And we've been working this deal for a little over a year. Since we've even had the other retail location, we've been eyeing this place and building out the vision for it. So it's not, oh yeah, by the way, we just got our hands on this thing and now we have to figure out what to do. So this is the most calculated thing we've done in a really long time. Everything is super calculated. We know exactly what to do, how to remodel stuff, how to take over the team, to train employees, do all this great stuff with this vision. So it's a 24-lane shooting range with 10 pistol, 10 rifle, and 4 VIP lanes. I built out a really cool high-end inventory room, huge rental wall, pistols, rifles, everything you can rent, huge showroom, pistols, rifles, accessories, all the stuff you could buy, suppressors, a full lounge in there with drinks, TVs, couches, hangout spot. And then we also have a concept called the lab. And the lab is a little room in the shop where it's a DIY gunsmithing room where it has 6 gunsmithing armors area. So you can come in with a rifle. You want to accessorize a rifle. Where do you even start? How often do you work on your rifle? If you're not a gunsmith, maybe you don't know how to do it.
Right.
But you want to throw an optic on. No problem. I have a gunsmith. I'm breaking down the barrier of entry to getting people to come in, learn the product, get hooked, accessorize their stuff, and do that. And then it has a full-blown restaurant and bar, which was called Wick's Bar and Grill, which is now rebranded to my restaurant called Smoke and Grain.
Smoke and Grain.
Smoke and Grain. And it's separate. It's in the same building, but it's separate.
Okay.
It's a restaurant bar. It's a healthy American twist, burgers, stuff like that. And we've already switched a bunch of stuff. No seed oils. All of the stuff is done in
so
beef tallow.
cool. You're ahead of it.
Yeah, we're all over it.
Wow.
It's super cool. My partners and we have some experience with the restaurant industry. We brought on my partner's brother, who's an absolute rock star, to run the kitchen. We hired a bunch of rock stars to come in. We have a couple consultants getting us to where we want to be with the menu and drink menu and stuff like that. It's really great. That's for the downstairs portion of the range. And the second floor of the range, which is really unique, is training rooms, corporate event area, and offices. So I host tons of training events up there. I have a whole training room dedicated to putting mats up there for hand-to-hand combat, force-on-force training, simulators, and a golf sim in there too, so I can work on my swing.
There you go. It's right next to Top Golf. Why not?
Exactly, yeah. And so a bunch of corporate event space. And then the third floor, which is the most special in Gilbert by far, it's an absolute sleeper and no one knows about it. But I have a 300-person capacity rooftop bar that I'm building up there. And it's going to be done later this fall. And I'm remodeling the whole thing. And it's going to be called High Caliber Rooftop Bar. And It's going to be the premier rooftop bar in all of Gilbert. And it's going to be hopefully one of the most successful bars in all of Gilbert. It's a phenomenal spot. The concept's gorgeous. Full service bar. We have an outdoor kitchen installing up there to do tapas and appetizers, late night snacks, music, 5 fireplaces. Like, it's gorgeous.
That sounds sick, man.
The views are over the top. You can see Superstition Mountain. You see a beautiful view of Top Golf. It's over the top. So the whole building is like a mecca for this stuff. It's crazy. But the true thing is the building is like 5 businesses in one, even though it's in one building. So it's a lot of work. There are a lot of different sides that need attention. Yeah.
And you were saying earlier, like, be laser focused and, hey, people are trying to, this is the next shiny object. But for you, you do have a lot of things going on. However, there's a big difference. It was carefully thought through, strategically planned, and you had experience in this space, right?
Of course.
And it's not like you went against what you just said. You literally said, I'm going to take my time. I have connections in this space and we're going to collaborate and we're going to build this epic commercial building that has different features, and the revenue is going to be pulling in from unlimited ammo and the guns and the tactical shootings and the conferences and the bars. So you have this like passive income stream coming from all these different components. Amazing, dude.
Yeah, it's extremely calculated and it's phased. So like we did remodel. We're still doing remodel. We've only been in there about 7. This is our 7th week in there, and we've done so much work. Like we've spent so many countless nights, like multiple nights this week. Me and my partners have been there till past 4 a.m. Like, dang, we work so much. If anyone knows me closely and all the people who like know me on social media, I post all the time. Here's a story of me leaving at 4 a.m. just to remind myself, like, this is worth it type of thing. And that's really cool. So the project is ever going. There's still tons of stuff to do, and you have to be calculated. Number one, because the budget, it would cost me in hundreds of thousands of dollars just to start. You can't shut the building down and just do it. You have to phase it. So we remodeled the first section, which is the range and stuff, and got the inventory right, got the stuff painted, doing that stuff to get it going on that end. And now we're about to embark on a whole restaurant remodel downstairs, which is like huge. We've already remodeled a lot of kitchen stuff. The perfect example is like in the kitchen, Smoke and Grain, in the restaurant bar. We remodeled and organized and cleaned and did all the stuff in the actual kitchen itself before doing any of the exterior remodel stuff of that place, because it's all about the operations.
100%.
Because if I remodel the place and it looks nice and I get thousands of people through the door and my kitchen can't support it, you got to put the right foot before the left foot.
Completely.
Yeah. So that is like the little snippet of how like thorough we are in terms of thought process. And like same with the rooftop bar, like we're not building the rooftop bar out until we have another 90 days until the remodel starts, to give us plenty of time to build more revenue and foot traffic and save more, so that these remodel budgets are not super tight and stressful. It's okay, let's do this. We'll have more room to do this. Versus coming in and going, okay, our budget's only this, so we're now like trapped in this one way of doing things,
so where handcuffed and maybe we could skimp on this part of the restaurant, and that's not what you want to do.
Yeah, and then that's the thing. If I was building it for a short term, no problem. You could, air quotes, cut corners.
Yep.
But when you have a vision like ours, like longevity is the key, and you want to do stuff that's everlasting, especially with this space and what we're trying to do with it. It takes a lot of patience and time because we joke all the time, like this project is like, even though we have another store right now, it's crushing. It's doing even
well.
better than the other store.
The Queen Creek one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the shop there next to the range in Gilbert has been running for years. But it's crazy. It's never done really well. It's never lived up to its potential, not even like by a fifth. So it's funny to see like how it's going, and it's like starting to pick up, and the guys that we inherited in terms of employees are like, whoa, this is so cool. And they get to see the vision and
change.
And they're so excited because now we're bringing our kind of a aggressive approach to it and like customer service driven stuff. And it's not a gun shop no more, guys. This is how we do things. And it's pretty cool. But that is just one step in the vision for what we have with the ammo manufacturing side, the retail store, the range, the restaurant, the rooftop bar, the training, the memberships, the VIP, all that cool stuff that we do supports all of our other entities and stuff we own behind the scenes. So the main thing is ammo manufacturing and the stores, obviously, but we own a suppressor manufacturing company. We've been working on it for a little over a year.
That's crazy.
And we've taken our sweet time with it, making sure it's just right. I just hired a president to come on board for that. It's going to be incredible. We're hopefully launching in about 60 days. Very cool. But the key is I just don't want to just launch a suppressor company. It's a massive in Denver. Like overhead is over the top. Profit potential is insane. Like production capacity is wild. Even compared to ammo manufacturing, like it's a beast. The regulations, all this stuff is
I bet the regulations are just nutty.
Yeah, regulations that's a 2-hour podcast.
Oh, I bet.
And it's really cool. And we've been taking our time doing it. But the reason why we've waited to do it is because I'm building my stores that facilitate sales and growth of my product. So that's what it's doing. My e-commerce is phenomenal. I ship ammo all across the country, but my stores support the production. My e-commerce supports the production. And then with the stores, will support the suppressor business and all the other stuff that go along with it. So yeah, it's pretty slick. And we've just pivoted on some things, but we've stayed true to so many different projects and stuff. Then we have another side of our business, which is a series of entities. And the way it works is we've patented a few products in the industry.
Okay.
So we patented a thermal target system it's a self-heating thermal target system.
Does it like move and stuff?
It moves and it imitates human heat signature.
No
for
way.
Advanced training just for government.
Wow.
So yeah, we've done a lot of really cool stuff with that over the last year and a half or so, almost 2 years now. A lot of really cool stuff. I've been all over the country with my partners, demoing this to some of the coolest, dopest groups in the world.
Oh, like I bet.
DevGru,
Tactical shooters. Oh, I bet.
The best in the world. Like groups that I can't even name on the podcast that have shot my target. It was really cool.
Keep those quiet.
Yeah, so we've started growing in that aspect on the government side too. That's a massive endeavor. And you want to talk about patience, like you're not going to just go out there and think you're going to be a war dog. We joke about it all the time. You're not going to land a $30 million contract out the rip. It takes a long time. My partners and I have invested countless hours and so much money. I don't even want to say because it makes me sick to my stomach because there's zero return on it so far. But it's really cool.
Yeah.
But we have some amazing contracts lined up and some other cool stuff like that. And as time goes on, as we see needs in the industry that are on the super forefront, we get ahead of them. We develop stuff. And my partner, Calvin, specifically, he's a mechanical engineer by trade. So if like Connor or I have an idea or something like that, we can put it to CAD and have a 3D printed model in hours.
Wow.
So we can be on the forefront of a bunch of this cool stuff. We just patented a new round this past week.
No
that is
way.
Super, super cool.
Wow.
It's really sick. It's a very specialty purpose, government only use case, but it's cool.
When does that come to market, you think?
We've already done a demo with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at a base in Georgia, and they really liked it. So it's like,
gosh.
we have some other stuff lined up in terms of that, but it's all behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like, it's all stuff that doesn't need a grip of employees. It doesn't need a bunch of infrastructure. And that's the stuff that's able to be added on to the main business in time.
Yeah,
but
right.
if a year and a half ago, if we were just trying to do these 6 different things, we would run ourselves dry because it takes so much time to have those projects come to fruition. So we have our main things that we're doing that are helping fund these other projects and other things behind the scenes. And that's why when you dive into it, you see us. We have an office in Gilbert. We have the other store. We have these places all over Arizona, like basically like little hubs, right? And you see us in the office and we're working, and I got my accountant in there, I got my assistant in there, we got all this stuff. You're like, what is this? You guys even make ammo? You don't even know what we do. We have so much stuff going on.
That's what I was intrigued about. once again, man, I've been brought up with my dad hunting and shooting, and I was very intrigued. I'm like, what are these guys doing? Are they making ammo? But now I got you on my podcast. You're like unveiling the onion, and I'm like, this is incredible, man. Yeah, this is something that for me, it's almost like a storybook that's coming true. And are you kidding me? You're telling me I could go in and I could hang out and feel the guns, play with the guns, chill in the lounge while I'm waiting to purchase the gun, while you're checking me out, my background. And
Of course.
this,
Yeah.
it's different from, I hate to throw the big corporations under the bus, but Sportsman's Warehouse,
Oh, yeah.
Cabela's.
Absolutely.
This is completely different from that experience.
We've taken those experiences we've had at those big box stores, and obviously big box stores are incredible. Their revenue is not coming from guns and ammo. It's coming
Right.
from all the other stuff that
Right.
has way better margin than guns and ammo. And it's very unique, but we're giving it that mom and pop feel. We have like our brand cohesion. So it's, hey, we got a cool brand. It's cool stuff. You're proud to shoot it, stuff like that. But also at the same time, we're not big time like that. We're still pretty mom and pop in the sense. The owner, us three, are always at the different stores. A lot of our VIP customers know us by name. He texts us for stuff. Like, we're not going to grow out of our shoes in that space. We're not going to turn into a giant corporation like that, because that's not the vision for us. We want to have that feel. And that's the business. It's so important. So much of the business and the people can shop anywhere. You can buy anything you want, wherever you want, especially in the online space. Obviously, I'm a competitor in the e-commerce space. I sell a lot of ammo and accessories and stuff online, and I compete with a lot of different people, and the margin's not the best in the world, but the key is people come and shop with us because of our customer service, because of our stuff, what we offer, not just good value and good product and good prices. That's a given, but it's the feeling like a friend, feeling like you're more than just a customer. You're not a line item to us. We don't look at you on a P&L and say, oh, thank you for this person. Our customers are our friends, and we know a lot of people, so many customers on a first basis. And that's the thing, is that's me. I'm one of the owners. I don't spend time working in the store, and I know tons of our customers and tons of people because we're doing other stuff running the business, and my employees know these guys on first. Hey man, welcome in. Good to see you. How's the kids? How's blah, blah, blah. Customer service is the key to modern business success. Like I say this over and over again, is the absolute key. You find yourself shopping at the places that give you that good customer service. You go to Chick-fil-A. Think about the experience you get at Chick-fil-A versus the experience you get at McDonald's. Yep. There's no comparison, and you much rather go to Chick-fil-A. It's the same conversation with the QT and Circle K. Everyone, I only go to QT. I'm so sorry. I don't care if the prices are literally double. I do not care. The customer service, the convenience, and the way they've built that customer service driven thing, their checkout, everything is just top tier.
Top notch.
And that's what we're chasing with our retail stores, and just our brand and business and everything we touch in general is we want that cohesion. We want to be people's friend in the business. And ultimately, I think that is what like all encompassing, like puts the vision on the map.
Heck yeah. No, it's going to be definitely a staple piece in this market for sure. I can't believe it's all happening in Arizona in my back door. I'm like, yes, thank you, Justin. This is so exciting. I've been telling you, I'm like, I want to get into the tactical shooting, and knowing now I have a connection and knowing that it's literally right next door, like I'm super excited to get into that. I haven't checked your Queen Creek store out. I will take my dad like in the next couple weeks. Oh, yeah. He just bought a new rifle, and now I'm like, dang it, we should have just went down to Justin's shop. Yeah. But now I get to understand what you're all about and understand like what you guys are doing internally, which makes me even more pumped of coming down and visiting. So what's one of those lessons like you had to learn the hard way? When you're creating these multiple businesses, what was that one thing that you're like, oh, I will never do that again, or I need to avoid that at all costs to be a successful company?
Yeah, one of the biggest things is in terms of we're in the manufacturing business ultimately, right? So when it comes down to manufacturing, there's a lot of areas that you can go wrong. You can stray away from your products. You can stray away from all different stuff and trying to come up with new and great product lines all the time instead of mastering some product lines. That was one of the biggest things, like always trying to come out with new stuff instead of just pushing and continuing to have a staple product line, trying a bunch of new things. I don't say that as a negative or massive lesson, because without the trying of the different things, we wouldn't have the product line we have now. But I think you can go broke chasing the buck. And that's a huge one. Another massive one too, in terms of production and quality, and especially with consumer-based products, like quality is like one of the biggest things. When you talk about merchandise companies, when you talk about all sorts of stuff, you own a print shop, you buy t-shirts. Don't buy the crappiest t-shirt because you're trying to make the most. You're not going to have the retention. That's the same thing with our components. We use super, super high-end components because we want to offer the quality. And I think the second you try to cut a few corners and not optimize, because optimize is actually buying stuff smarter and doing stuff like that. That's different.
Yeah.
There's ways to save money on the back end by being efficient. That is not cutting corners. And I think every single time my partners and I joke about, oh, there's a good deal on this. We tried this. Oh, we've never loaded that brass before, whatever. 9 out of 10 times it's crap and we end up losing money on it or whatever. Or this very rarely happens for us. But if a customer has bad experience with something or it doesn't function in their particular gun or whatever the heck it is, we have a 100% lifetime warranty on all the products we have. You buy any product from us, it's 100% guaranteed. If God forbid you ever had it,
we got your back.
Any malfunction, 9 out of 10 times with the firearm in the first place, but we will take care of it and stuff like that. But when you cut corners or try to do that stuff, we don't at all, because we've learned the lesson the hard way, especially when we first got started. That's one of the biggest lessons for sure. A phrase that we use all the time is, we're not rich enough to be cheap. And that basically means I'd rather buy something of value, of quality, and then have it for a period of time versus buying a bunch of cheap crap a bunch of times.
Totally, dude.
That's how we are with tools. That's how we are with stuff. Like we laugh all the time, like with drills and different things like that. We have friends that constantly go through Harbor Freight shit over and over again.
Get the best.
If you would have bought the Milwaukee or DeWalt, you would have been good to go. And I think that's one of the things that we try to do and instill in our employees and our customers and stuff like that. Okay, this is the stuff you want to do. Don't cut corners on your self-defense ammo. Like
100%.
Like you're going to save a couple pennies. It's going to save your life. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I do in the hunting world, man. I mean, like literally you go into my closet, like I have the Swarovski, the finest crystal glass. I got the best. Just like for me, it's either if I go a little bit less, the quality's not going to be there. And then it potentially could break down.
It's peace of mind too.
Peace of mind, exactly. So I'd rather go into the woods knowing I have the best pistol, the best ammunition, the best binoculars, backpacks, you name it, best bow. That's who I am. So I'm going to buy the best of the best. And hearing you say that, I'm like, you're speaking my language, Justin. That's so cool.
Yeah,
man.
for sure. And the big thing is there's a happy medium, because there is obviously the best out there. And a lot of the times there's stuff that's just overpriced in the industry. But we find the happy medium of what we use all the time. We're value driven. Will we be the dead cheapest on the market? I can be. I sell product that's the dead cheapest on the market, but it's not my product. It's not my loaded product. My loaded manufactured product here in Arizona is not going to be the cheapest on the market. I'm using American labor. I'm using super high-end components. I'm using our QC process. Every single piece of ammunition is hand and visually inspected. It's different than out of a factory in Philippines.
It's powerful, for sure.
And it costs a few pennies more. And if that few pennies is the difference between you purchasing it or not purchasing it, I'm sorry, you're probably not the best customer for us.
Yeah, you're not a good fit.
And that's okay. But we're value driven. We're offering a super high-end product for an affordable price. And that's what we do with all this stuff with our suppressor manufacturing company. With any of the stuff we do, it's all about value. Is it a good deal? We're entrepreneurs. People look at stuff and like, your consumer tendencies are value driven. Like, why do you go to Costco for your stuff? Because you're trying to save some stuff. You're buying stuff in bulk. Are you really saving that much per ounce? Sometimes at Costco, it's even more expensive than just the grocery store. But it's the point of the value. You're getting higher quality products than just some random brands at whatever Walmart grocery store or whatever the case may be. So that's like what we're taking is like the consumer psychology that we've studied and understand and bringing it to a space that none of that exists. It's because it's more of an archaic industry where there's new businesses and cool stuff coming out all the time from really cool brands that are starting to get it. Over the last few years, it's become really advanced with some stuff in some markets, and then the other stuff is just it's just not, and it's unique. But yeah, in terms of lessons, like that's like the biggest one, especially when it comes down to starting a business or doing some of that stuff like that. You cut corners. Like we joke about it all the time. One of the biggest things that we never cut corners on, and if you've ever shot any of our ammunition, are our packaging. So our boxed ammo It's so frustrating
Really?
how much money we pay for our boxes. They're spot gloss, they're gorgeous, they have sayings on the inside, they're really nice. But when you pick up one of our boxes, it feels high quality. It looks
oozing.
high quality. When you set it on the bench and you're at the shooting range, you want to take a picture of it.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And that's part of the brand, and it makes you feel good about it.
Totally. Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the components on the inside of the box. Even though they're incredibly high quality, I could package them in a loose Ziploc bag. It's the same ammunition, but how you feel when you have the box. And then I package my stuff in different forms. I do a lot of, we call them the Capri Sun bags. They're resealable bags.
Oh, very cool.
And they're really cool, but you get to see the ammunition. You get to
Inside of
see it. It's clear, and it gives an opportunity like, oh yeah, like you get to see what I'm buying. First, it being in a box. You don't get to see the rounds and stuff like that. So when you have that little bit of flair to the product, it's, oh, wait a second. Like looking back on how many boxes and cases of it, like our 9mm ammunition I've sold. I wish I could go back and save all the money on packages. It would have been awesome. But at the same time, like it's about the brand. It's about the experience.
Brand recognition.
And have that stuff. And that's the biggest thing. And to be honest, in terms of like ammo manufacturing brand, like we're a small fish. Holy crap, we're a small fish.
I can't believe, the amount of ammunition is out there. And so,
That's insane.
But that's how you guys are making yourself different. You're coming up with those boxes and the Capri Sun packaging, and it's like you're doing things differently, put your foot on the map, which is awesome. And that's what you have to do in today's market, in my opinion. It's you got to be different. You got to think differently, act differently, and approach that industry in a different way. And that's what you guys are doing. That's what makes you guys special.
That's right. And the thing is, especially when you look at business models, business plans and stuff like that, I can look at a million different franchise models and a bunch of different stuff. And if there's not something that's going to make you stand out or make you unique and make you resilient to the goods and bad times, because a lot of people, when they're doing models and they're looking at potential business models and ideas, and if you're a wannabe entrepreneur and you're about to get your feet wet, the entrepreneur field, and like really take it from your corporate life into something different or whatever the case may be, everyone's story is different. A lot of people calculate and look at businesses on what it can do. It can do this. Sure. What's the worst case it can do? You don't know what's going to happen in the market. You don't know what your supply chain looks like. I feel super bad for a lot of people right now in the e-commerce space that's selling products that are all imported products with all these tariffs.
100%.
They're about to get slaughtered.
Yeah.
These tariffs are extremely aggressive, enough to put businesses way out of business. It's going to be extremely hard. But at the same time, there was not even an opportunity to even think about, oh, what if this happens? What if this changes? Especially with COVID, supply chain stuff. Like, you have to think that through. We plan for our stuff because our market and component prices are constantly changing. Where if you're a t-shirt brand, like t-shirts are costing the same right now as they did 2 years ago, and they'll be a little more expensive, but in the next 2 years, they'll be about the same. Our industry is going up and down.
Because copper and all the price variances and stuff.
Yeah, there's so much to it. It's raw material,
Okay.
price influxes, it's mining influxes, sourcing influxes, trade war influxes, contract, overseas stuff. For example, the second the war broke out, massive jump. It's crazy. The second Russia announced that they're doing all this stuff, it was crazy. I was in Mexico at the time, and my phone just went bananas. The most orders we've ever had in a day.
Wow.
To this day. Oh, my phone was bing, bing.
Because people wanted it.
They're buying me out. Crazy. Because it's the fear.
Yeah.
So that's what's changing. Our market's super unique. There's like a huge fear tactic in it that a lot of companies use that I stay away from 100%. When I have increase in, a big one right now is powder, because cellulose factories, and it's a long story, but powder production is supposed to be really affected. This has been the same story for the last year and a half, by the way. And that's how much the fear mongering
Like, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? Next time.
And that's one of the things. And there's consumers that was like, oh, I won't buy it when it's high. And there's people who are like, nah, I just want to stock up right now because it's going to be the lowest it'll ever be. It's just like anything else. If you dollar cost average into your investment, which is really unique because not only are we a consumable product, we're actually investment, like truly, like it's hilarious. Like last year I sell barrels of ammo to customers, individual customers, just as investments. I'm like, dude, like you made 25% on your investment because that's how much the price has fluctuated on some of these rifle cartridges and stuff like that. It's really unique. So it's constantly shifting in the market and the components are going like that. But there's a lot of strategies that a lot of companies use to like fearmonger people into purchasing. And I stay away from that.
Okay.
I'm very honest with my customers. If I'm loading 9 mil and it costs me an extra penny per round for powder price increase, which is common, I pass the penny on. I don't mark it up 5 more pennies. I pass the one singular penny on. And we're very congruent with that across all of our product line, which is really cool. So it's great because I'm more competitive in times where import ammo is going to be more expensive.
Yeah.
So we've had a huge shift recently in the past few months where we've actually sold a lot more import ammo to our customers because I already have it at a low price. Soak it up at this low price. And when the import ammo is not there, don't worry, I'll have plenty of our product to put in there.
Yeah, and you're not gouging people, and you can. I feel your honesty, and that's what people are going to resonate to. That's why I'm going to come to Justin. That's why I'm going to come to Unlimited Ammo and do business with Justin and the team.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So it's a longevity game.
Yeah.
We're in it for the long haul. We're not a flash in the pan type of. We're not building something that's a flash in the pan. We have a massive vision for our business and entities and where we want to get it to go. And we're going to build, hopefully replicate these retail locations and this business model all across the country. We already have a third location we've been looking at and trying to do whatever we can to grow this into something really cool so we can eventually one day sell it and move on to the next adventure. And who knows what that will be.
That's so cool, man. Very nice. So I'm going to move on and I'm going to introduce a new segment. And this could be a little bit of a interesting part of the podcast. So what we're calling this is the Live Larz segment. Okay. And I'm going to define what is Live Larz real quick, and then we'll wrap about it a little bit. So Live Larz is a mindset. Okay. It's about chasing life with grit, saying yes to growth, and pushing limits both professionally and personally. And so my hopes with this movement, this Live Larz movement, is to create that community that has that grit mentality, never say die, keep going, burn. And what I want to see is like-minded individuals enter this community, right? With this Live Larz mentality. So Justin, what keeps you like full? What is your passions? With your mindset, how is it different from others? Like when other people are failing, how are you able to level up and be the boss of your business?
Sure. I think the root of it truly comes down to how much passion you have about the industry you're in and what you're doing and who you're doing it with.
Beautiful.
That's the key. Personally, we joke about it all the time. We say there's never a bad day in our business between me and my partners. And there's been days that have been absolute utter crap. We've been sued. We've had bad days. We've lost money. We've made bad decisions. We've had to fire a bunch of people. We've had to hire a bunch of people. We've done all sorts of everything you can imagine, right? But at the end of the day, we always are like, there's never a bad day when you're doing what you actually love and what you care about. And you're doing it with people you actually care about. I think that's the thing. We have just at 35 employees now. And a lot of them are newer to us in the past few months. But we had a team meeting last night with some of our core employees that have been with us for well over a year or more, some of them 2 years. And we're like a little family. That's awesome. That's so fun.
Yeah.
It could be good times. It could be bad times, but we're going to joke around. We're going to have fun. And that, I think, is the gap between work and life. We're doing it because we're passionate about it and it's fun to do. I never wake up and go, oh, I gotta go to the office. I gotta do this. It's just positive. And what happens is that's so infectious.
100%.
Because you have a certain level of positivity to you that just gets passed on to everyone you're around and who you work with. So when there are bad times, because there will be bad times, there will be down periods, there will be times to celebrate. No matter what type of mountain and valley you're in, you're going to have the consistency of knowing that you're doing it for yourself, for your family, for your partners, for your employees, for your friends. And that right there is like one of the biggest things that I've really never had in any other business I've ever ran or experienced that I have with my two partners now and my partner's family, my partner's I think about that all the time. Like, I'm working my butt off. We're staying up till literally sunrise to work on stuff so that my nephew could have an experience unlike anyone else. And it's
Yeah.
like, you're doing something more than just going out to try to make as much money as possible. The money is not, if you chase the money, it will never come. I'm literally telling you, it just will never, ever come. And I think that was a massive point of maturity that has switched for me in the last 2 to 3 years, where I look at business ventures as truly the P&L. I look at them as, what is the financial risk? What's the financial gain? Instead of looking at it as an all-encompassing piece that says, this is the lifestyle you're going to have. This is what you're going to be doing. This is what's involved in it. And then this is a potential reward. How long will it be? Couldn't tell you. My wife and I joke about it all the time. And my wife is my absolute rock. She's my backbone. She's a real estate agent. She's kicking butt. She's doing so well. I'm so proud of her. She's doing a great job. And we joke about it all the time because it's like, we've worked so hard for so much stuff. And over the last year or so, we've made virtually $0. And it's cost me so much, because not only is it costing me to live, we're depleting our savings account. I've depleted tons of different investments to continue to live and survive and stay afloat, not only reinvest into the business. So it's now, not only are you not getting paid, you have to reinvest. It takes a very special person to persevere and see the light at the end of the tunnel. Especially, like, my partners and I were literally joking about it last week. They're like, I can't believe you, Justin, you stayed on this long. I'm like, dude, I'm committed. There's no going back now.
To win it.
And I've humbly sacrificed so much lifestyle and different things like that for this different type of longevity that I've never had before. Going from a bunch of money can go really quick, build a business, like truly build a business of real value, real evaluation. Like, it's different. And we joke about it all the time. Over the years, my net worth on paper is super sick. It's super, my bank account's dry. Like, it feels dry. You know what I mean? I feel depleted, and that's part of the game. You're doubling down in that aspect. I think that's the key. It's so many people miss.
Yeah, so you're truly living Larz, man. That's the movement I'm trying to get out there, is you got to feel depleted. You got to look at your checking account, savings account. You're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to not only pay myself, but how am I going to pay my employees? And then you just hit it on the head. You got to invest in your company. You got to stay in there all night, stay in the fight with the crew, and just battle those ups and downs of the business. So that's the mindset that I think all those individuals who are listening to Justin's story and saying, oh gosh, that would be amazing, I think I could do it. Just get ready for a fight. Get ready for all night battle. Get ready to live off of top ramen, because sometimes that's what it takes.
I literally cannot express that we've done that for so long. My partners, I owe it all to them, and my wife and my partners' wives, like, they've been along for the ride and been so supportive, but sacrificing so much lifestyle and comfortability and creature comforts, what you're willing to do, and then putting the employees first, exactly like you said. Our employees, our team always will eat first. Our guys have gotten multiple raises. When my partners and I, like, we just took our first check. What are we at, May 9th today?
Yeah.
Last week we took our first check since before Christmas.
Wow.
No, that's obviously pretty personal, but that just shows you, like, the level
Dedication.
we're at, like, in terms of, like, I've built myself to a point where I can withstand going without pay for 6 months or 5 months or whatever. But who's willing to even do that?
Yeah.
And I talk to a lot of young entrepreneurs that are getting the game, the advantage now with the internet and resources and people and mentorship and all this other stuff that's out there for the 18, 19, 25-year-olds. It's over the top.
It's ridiculous.
It's over the top. There's zero excuse to not be wildly successful in this modern age, technology and AI and stuff like that. I use it every second of the day.
I just hired an AI guy, because if I don't get on this bandwagon, it's just like the .com, like the internet. You're going to be passed up.
The efficiencies that I've been able to bring it into our business is over the top. I don't send any professional email of any importance to anyone without running it through ChatGPT 4.0, without running it through Grok. I use all these different platforms and software. If you're a young entrepreneur today, like, in my opinion, you have no excuse to not be wildly successful. And if you are, the biggest word that we're using in this past couple weeks and months around our business and team and everything is the word effort. Effort is the difference between those who are successful and those who are not successful.
100%.
It's all about the effort. It's risk, but it's effort. That is 100% through and through. It's so easy to do so much stuff. Why is your bed not made? Why do you not hold yourself to a certain level? It's literally effort. And I think that's
Effort and accountability.
accountability. Yeah. If you put the effort forward, hopefully the accountability will follow.
100%.
But it's truly the effort. It's very unique. Like the AI stuff and all the younger entrepreneurs and doing all the cool stuff. And there's so much room out there.
It's
Different
amazing.
markets that are
Oh my
over the
gosh.
top, especially with so much stuff. But the sacrifice you have to make to get where you want to get. Not every business requires massive sacrifice. But if you can ask anyone who, I love all these guys who interview entrepreneurs. I watch them. I'm buddies with them on social media and stuff like that. And I watch them interview these people that you sit back and you watch someone who's sold a business for several $100 million. You look at super high net worth individuals and you can sit back and say, look at these excuses this person was born into, this person inherited, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, someone somewhere down the line put the effort, made the sacrifice, and took the risk to get that person where they are today. No one who sold a business for hundreds of millions won the lottery.
Right.
It is truly a matter of work and effort and stuff like that. Like I see like Starbucks CEO and all these stuff, like the famous interviews of all this stuff. He's really worked for it. And I think that's the mindset and the mental shift that not too many people truly have, the understanding that you're a human, man, woman, child, whatever. You have the same opportunity as someone else. And if you don't, you are in a mindset that's not going to get you where you want to be. If you have access to the internet, if you have access to anyone, everyone has equal opportunity. The world is an equal opportunity employer. You can go out and do stuff. I just left this morning. I just left a job site with this guy who we've been working with, this cool business. And it's just a really cool thing we're just getting into. And it's amazing. You meet this guy and you saw him at Circle K, you wouldn't think twice. But this guy is making
He's a sleeper.
multiple 8 figures a month. Like this is a whole nother level. And if you walked into a car dealership, you wouldn't ignore him, completely ignore him, because that's the appearance he gives and stuff. And he came from nothing. And I hear these stories of these entrepreneurs that come from nothing. And why is that such a consistent narrative? It's such a consistent narrative because they have nothing to lose and they're willing to do whatever it takes and put all the effort in, put all the chips on the table. And that's why you see these younger entrepreneurs that come from nothing, that make it out of the mud or whatever the phrase is you want to do. Same with the professional athletes, the professional fighters, the UFC. I came from nothing. I had nothing. And now here I am today. It's because they have nothing to lose. And it's the mindset, whether you have stuff to lose or nothing to lose, you have to have the mindset to go and put it all on the table. And I think that's so important. That's a Larz.
Yeah, I said, you just summarized Live Larz. That's what it's all about. And that's been my life. Like, I didn't have a lot, Justin. And so I had to grind. And it's nice to be sitting here, but I am not finished. It's like, I'm just starting. The game has just started. At 47, I truly feel like I'm filling my shoes. I'm like, okay, if I could have learned or had a little bit more sense of what Justin had at 29, I'd probably be a lot farther. But I am happy where I've come from and where I'm at. And I still get to build upon those pillars that I've learned throughout my life. That's the exciting thing for this next 10, 20 years, because now I get to pass it on to my kids, which was not really passed on to me. I think every generation grows a little bit more. And now I'm setting my kids up with business opportunities and portfolio management and real estate, and why that's so important, and why getting your name out there, creating a brand. And this is why I started the Lounge with Larz podcast. And I'm trying to create this Live Larz movement, maybe through some merch and hats and apparel, because it's like that never die attitude is going to get you probably further than a lot of people can get. Because if you have that mindset and you can make that shift, historically speaking, it shows in different people, right? Those people who have come from nothing now have an abundant lifestyle because they just had nothing to lose. Yeah, your story is truly incredible. You're just so well spoken. You're on the cutting edge of this two-way
Two-way.
move. Thank you. You're just doing so many cool things. And man, I hope all the listeners are just like, man, this guy's changing the game.
I appreciate it. It's taken a lot of failure and a lot of different things to get where I'm at. The key is just like you. I feel like this is nothing. This is scratching a small itch, just filling the pool. We're barely getting started. The key is like the vision of having an understanding, like the humbleness of who gives a crap how big your business is, how many employees. There's always someone doing better than you. And there's always someone doing worse than you. And you have to be understanding that even if you're on the top of your game, you're not. If you're a race fan, I'm a huge car person.
NASCAR?
F1, NASCAR,
F1,
everything. Oh, yeah, anything you race, I love it. But the key is, like I keep saying, it's harder sometimes to be in first place and hold off the dude in second place than to be the guy in second place going after the lead. It's a very simple concept. But if you allow yourself to understand, like, no matter what, you're in the race. It doesn't matter if you're in the lead or in the middle of the pack or dead last. That is a blessing. That is a blessing. When we get into the nitty gritty of all this stuff, especially with entrepreneurship and business, you can get so distracted and micro focused into this vision that you forget all the other stuff about the outside world. It's really tough when a lot of people don't have a lot of life experience. But when you deal with someone passing away in your life, when you deal with grief, when you deal with life, your mental maturity and realization that there's so much more to it than what you do for business and work and how much money you have and what you do. Truly, none of it matters if you have that perspective. I'm so appreciative of my parents. They've given me so much perspective, and they're incredible role models for me. They've been extremely successful. They're great people, and they've helped me. They haven't financially helped me in like how other people get financial help from their parents. It's more like they've mentally helped me grow and mature. And like, you have these, for me personally, I had stages in life where I've lived these different experiences that you give different perspective. Like my dad having cancer and him making through it, and now he's good and he's in remission and stuff like that. But you go through a time period of your life where you're like, oh crap, nothing matters,
right?
But the time I get to spend with him, the time you get to spend with your family, all that other stuff, because it could be gone tomorrow. And the thing is, as many people want to chase success down and do the stuff, it's truly the lifestyle and the ability to have some freedoms and do stuff and spend time with your family comfortably without stress. That's the biggest win. It has nothing to do with how much your business is worth or how much money you have in your bank account, because you can't take that with you. It doesn't matter how many Ferraris you have, like, you cannot take it with you. And then that leads into, when you have that mindset, you get led into trying to do impactful things in business and with people and stuff like that. So that's like that's the big picture thing that I think there's a lot of lack of maturity in entrepreneurs. I wish a lot of people had more perspective, and most people do have that perspective through grief and loss and whatever the case may be in life experience. But the earlier you can learn and appreciate that it's not about the end goal, it's about the journey, your day-to-day life and lifestyle and your smile on your face will get bigger, and the hard days will be easy, because there will be hard days and there will be fun days. Yesterday for us was a super fun day. It just happened to be. 2 days before, not a fun
Miserable
day. But I still had fun.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a good day for the business, but it was still a good day. I'm doing what I like to do.
Exactly.
And if you don't chase what you want to do and doing what you're passionate about, all that other stuff, like providing for your family, then you get into having children and all this other like high level life goals and things that are so much more than financial goals. You want to make an impression for your kids. You want to set a good example for your kids, and you want to set them up to financially, of course. But at the end of the day, you're going to help them be successful. That doesn't mean just give them a trust fund.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
them.
Mentor them, give them, set the bar and set the example. My parents, I'm so blessed to do that. My wife's parents have done that. And we have great role models, and we have great parents and people around us that have all done the same thing.
So cool.
And that, for me, that's what I see as the big long-term goals and stuff like that.
That's the nugget.
Because the number one thing that you can do to prove that you're a successful father or leader or whatever is have offspring that are more successful than you in more ways than financially.
Yeah, man, you're so well spoken, Justin. Because you once again you hit it on the head again. I lost my mom last year to cancer.
So sorry about
and it was definitely a tough season in my life, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, I matured. And it's what I was once searching for, that P&L, is that,
Of course,
how much money am I making? I didn't care. Right. What I cared about is I cared about my family. I cared about my friends being together. I wanted to have more of my community around me. I started leaning into the church. And this is honestly, we've had several podcasts now, and it's this spirituality keeps coming up. And with understanding that there's a higher power, there's a higher reason why you're creating these businesses. And it's to connect with your family, to spend time with friends, to have a community of like-minded individuals to fall back on. And for you to share that today on the podcast is like so uplifting to me. And I know it's going to be uplifting to all the listeners. But yeah, you are well beyond your years when it comes to your emotional IQ of what it means to have a purpose-filled life. And man, I just wish nothing for the best for you and the team and the family. Yeah, and life is difficult, business is difficult, but that's why we continue to try to Larz and try to have that mindset and that grit mentality to keep pushing through. And I have no doubt, man, you're just going to conquer the world. And I look forward to all the business opportunities that you have before you, and take advantage of those and keep growing the Unlimited Ammo brand. But I just appreciate you being on the podcast. I thank you very much. You blew me away. How can all the listeners get a hold of you, get in touch with you, Justin?
Thank you so much for having me on the podcast. I'd love any opportunity I can to jump on a podcast and talk about it, because it's so funny, like the reinforcement that I have even talking about this stuff. Like I'm going to go back to the office for the rest of the day and just have it on my mind that, oh yeah, like we have been working hard. I got to keep pushing. I got to keep doing that stuff. Like sometimes talking about that stuff is the best way to, teaching is sometimes the best way to learn. And I think repeating the story and getting it out there and talking about different things and mindsets with like-minded individuals and stuff like that really puts the cherry on top. So thank you for having me. I appreciate it. If you want to reach out to me, the best way is probably Instagram. It's just Justin Lawrence 137. Shoot me a DM. I love talking to people on social media. For any inquiries about anything else, just justin@unlimitedammo.com. Send me an email. If you're in the Arizona area, I would love to come give you a tour of our range and restaurant, and get an opportunity for you guys to try one of our burgers and just enjoy the space we're putting together. I think it's really cool. So I appreciate the support and having me on. It's just really a pleasure.
Yeah, I love a good burger. So we're going to have to definitely get a burger together, and you got to level my tactical shooting up for sure. I'm ready to definitely get into it, man. But yeah, awesome. Thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Just remember to click the subscribe button. I hope you enjoyed today's guest, Justin Lawrence. I hope you continue to live Larz, and I just appreciate you guys for listening to the podcast. Thank you.